Going to be the Ackerman adjustable adapter. Just need a 13 and a 22. Hey everyone, today we're going to show you an update on one of our products. It's the 350Z Mantis Kit that we've been selling for around 5 years now. And we've really been going with the same version with making slight changes to the control arm design. And then we haven't really changed the geometry of the knuckle adapter, which locks you in at around 60 to 65 degrees of angle with approximately 4 degrees of Ackerman at full lock. To explain that a bit better, if you had 60 degrees of angle, you would have approximately 56 degrees on the outside wheel and you would have 60 degrees on the inside wheel. So what we're coming out with is an adapter block that works with the 350Z Mantis kits and the OEM knuckle. And here, off to my right, I have an OEM 350Z knuckle. Excuse the fact that it's pretty beat up and messy. This is just what we use for testing stuff, hammering stuff. We kind of use it as a jig here and there. But I'm going to show you how this is going to work and how this adapter will actually work with our own kits. And the biggest benefit of it is that it's going to work with anybody's kit that uses the factory knuckle. So if you want to adapt an adjustable Ackerman adapter for your tie rod, you could easily run this with our kit or any of our competitors' kits. Okay, so to talk about Ackerman, typically this is an example of a fully fabricated knuckle that we offer for, this one is actually for a Mazda Miata. To show you typically how we adjust our Ackerman, you can see that we have a slot that is located around the radius of our control arm pickup, and going off of that and the rack position determines where we're putting our tie rod pickup point and what Ackerman we want to run. So typically we have an Ackerman plate that lines up with 2 holes, and this gives you a 0 Ackerman position. And to change that, we simply swap out the Ackerman plate going backwards. This is a front rack car being for a Miata, so going backwards, we are going to decrease our Ackerman and actually go into the negative. So this would give us around -2 degrees at full lock. And if we flipped it, this would actually put us into the positive or pro Ackerman setup around 2 degrees at full lock. And these plates are what we include in the kit, but we can also supply a plate with a hole in a slightly different spot if you wanted to fine tune the setup. So that's an example of how we adjust Ackerman usually on our fully fabricated kits. Because we're using a OEM 350Z knuckle for our kit, our control arm setup or anyone else's control arm setup attaches to the ball joint here, and then the original location for the tie rod was there. But if you continued to run your tie rod here, you would not get any angle because the ratio of the steering is just simply not enough to utilize the rack's travel range. You would only be getting around 30 degrees. So every kit comes with an adapter. Some adapters bolt to here and here. Some of them bolt and use all the holes. So for this new design of our adapter, we're going to be utilizing the original tie rod pickup and the original bump stop threaded holes that come on all of the knuckles. And the adapter is going to be installed like so. Now the key points to note are that everything has a slot on it, allowing you to move inward and outward in relation to where the control arm is pivoting on the knuckle. So to show you how this is going to work, we're going to be using this as our Ackerman plate. And you can see that this Ackerman plate, stepping away from the knuckle for a second just because it's easier to hold, you can see that this Ackerman plate has 3 holes here that correspond with 2 holes that are on the bracket. And the 3 holes line up with the 2 holes to give us different Ackerman settings. And when we install this small bolt into one of these holes, it actually acts as a pin, locking these 2 holes into this plate and eliminating the range of motion that a slot typically has. So when we install this plate all together onto the knuckle, just bear with me here for a second. I'm just going to remove the outer tie rod end just so I can simulate this better. But you can see now without the small bolt that's going to lock this hole in. Our adapter is now free to slide inward towards the middle of the car and outward towards the outside or out towards the wheel. This is going to effectively change the Ackerman of our setup, and you can easily do this on the fly without removing anything other than this small bolt. So if I wanted to run a pro Ackerman setup, I would want to choose the setting that is furthest inward towards the car, install my bolt, tighten the nut on the back, tighten the 3 bolts down that hold it in place, and you now have a solid, adapted, angle improved ratio pickup point that will work with our kit or anyone else's kit. And to change it on the fly at the track, you would simply crack these 3 bolts loose. You would remove this small bolt. You would move your plate, reinstall the bolt into the next hole, and now you have effectively changed your Ackerman. The only thing you'll need to be doing is adjusting your toe using a set of toe plates at the track, and you will now have a different Ackerman setting. This is going to be an excellent upgrade or adapter for anyone's kit, and it's really going to change the game with having an affordable kit, because what the majority of people are running into is that in order to have a competitive, fully adjustable kit, you're going to have to spend, this is in Canadian dollars, between $2,000 and $2,800 for an effective kit that's going to give you lots of angle, the adjustment that you need, the roll center correction, and all the kinematics to go along with a good handling kit. But for anywhere around the $1,000 to $1,200 range, you're not going to get anything that's competitive, but you will get stuff that works. This is going to give you something that's competitive. You're going to be able to adapt and change your Ackerman on the fly, perfecting your tire wear, your in-corner speed, adjusting for different tracks, that like a small go-kart track versus a large high-speed track that has long sweeping corners. You're going to want to be changing your Ackerman, and changing your Ackerman typically requires a decent amount of time, quite a bit of setup change, but not with this. This is going to be a game changer. We're going to be test fitting it on my car in this video, and I'm going to show you on the car how the Ackerman is able to work, how we're able to change it on the car, and ultimately how it performs at a racetrack. This is going to be a very quick solution that we can come out with and start offering to you guys coming into this new 2021 season. It's going to be great for drivers to get to adapt and run this. So let's put it on the car. Okay, so we're over here at my other shop where we are going to swap out our current adapter that we use on our Mantis Kit and reinstall. Wow. And that up. So we're here at my other shop to install our Ackerman adjustable tie rod adapter onto our, this is a close to 3-year-old kit. We pretty much put it on when we got this car. This kit's been going strong, but she is old. We should be changing out the heim joints, rod ends here soon. Just giving her a once over, but we're gonna put this on and show you that this could be put on an old kit. It could be put on a PBM kit or a GK Tech kit or whatever kit you want. This is going to be the Ackerman adjustable adapter that's going to change the game for a affordable 350Z angle kit, because let's face it, when you have an angle kit, it has nothing to do with the control arms and everything to do with the geometry that we put into these adapters. That's what determines the handling and performance of the car. And this is going to be the best of the best. So let's show you how to put it on. It's super easy. So we did a few winter drift days on this kit, and then we just ran it hard and put away wet. We've got a couple things that need to be bolt checked if we were going to run this. This is a bit loose. The subframe bolt here, can't really see it, but it's a bit loose. Our lock nuts and everything are tight, and our rack bolt is tight. These actually need to be checked fairly often as well, but we do put red Loctite on them. So let's get on with what we're doing here. and that is removing this knuckle adapter and installing our Ackerman adjustable adapter. So using a 19mm or a 3/4 socket, you can take off the bolts and hold this adapter on. We like to call them a helicopter because it's kind of what they look like. Knuckles now free. And our heim joints are a bit stiff, which is to be expected. They are pretty old. You can see that this was just starting to loosen up, so that would have needed a good tighten, but again, take the nut off and we are free. So if you were to buy this adapter without a new heim joint, you could easily just throw the adapter right on this, but because we're in here changing the joints, I'm gonna go ahead and take this outer off because it's pretty worn, and I'm gonna swap a new one in. So you can see that we were being nice, and we decided to make a second slot so that the hex of the bolt doesn't rotate. So all you got to do is tighten this new tie rod pickup bolt. Just tighten it from the top and it'll hold it on its own underneath. The kit will come with 2 M10s that thread right into the knuckle. Demonstration purposes, I'm gonna leave these just slightly loose so that I can show you on the car what's gonna be happening. So you can see right there our Ackerman adjustable movement. And we can see the holes lining up with each other as we go through this range. So we're going to start with our furthest positive Ackerman position. This is going to bring us closest to what the original position was. So we can go ahead and tighten everything up. And the other nice feature about this is that the top of this bolt is actually welded into the plate, so it makes it just one less thing that's going to potentially loosen up, as this stud is super solid. And we can also change and adjust for our bump steer if we need to. Makes it a lot more rigid when the stud is fixed or fastened to the adapter. But that's basically it. So if we just simulate the travel range here, you can see that just based off of how my alignment was originally, I can tell just from the install that this is almost the exact same, if not the exact same by design, as the original knuckle adapter that comes with our kit. And from here, we can reduce the Ackerman to 0 and then to an actual negative or anti-Ackerman position, where our trail wheel will actually be turning further than our lead wheel, which could be considered beneficial if you're running on a small track with very tight corners, somewhere around 50 feet radius, let's say. Or if you're on a larger track with long sweeping corners, you might want to continue to stay running with a positive Ackerman setup, or maybe around 0. You've got the options to choose from now. So this is going to be what comes standard with our kits starting within the next few weeks. You will be able to buy this adapter to adapt to your kits or to anyone else's kits. This is going to be an adapter that I have not tested it with a factory radius arm and factory control arm, but chances are that it will also work with those arms as well. The reason I say that is because it does not interfere with anything else. It actually leaves this mount completely open for the radius arm, if the radius arm was still here, it wouldn't be interfering with anything. The only thing that it might do is, because the pivot point runs off of the radius arm and the control arm, the bump steer would be a bit different, which I know is definitely an issue with some of the kits that do use those. But I'm going to go ahead and change this Ackerman. I know that the Ackerman changes your alignment. You do need to adjust for it. You do need to adjust your toe for it. But I'm going to put this to a closer to 0 setting and run with it. And I'm going to see how it is, since the original Ackerman is what this is set up to, which I'm already very used to because this is my seat time fun car. I'm going to go ahead and change it and see what the difference is. So we'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching. That is how to install this new product. That's going to be released in the next few weeks. And stay tuned and be ready to purchase it for the 2021 season. So you just need a 13 and a 22, and you can change the Ackerman. Let's time it, like 30 seconds. I can go from +4 to -2, I think is what we measured it to be around. Get the watch out.
Stopwatch. Okay.
Got your mark? Get set, go. Loosen that a little bit. Loosen that. Loosen that. Loosen that. Take this out. Turn the wheel this way. We're gonna put a pin back in. I can't see because your camera's in the way. I was trying to put it in the wrong hole, that's why. It's a common problem. And time.
Ooh.
Now, obviously, we need to, torque it, check it, but basically under a minute. I didn't adjust for the toe. So give the tie rods a couple turns, throw the toe plates on, and you're running a different Ackerman setup. That's just trackside doing, showing off to your friends that you can increase or decrease your performance, your potential performance, within 5 minutes, both sides on the ground. So take that one to the bank.